call to this COS Community College District Board of Trustees to order. It is Monday, December 11th, 2023, and we do have one item that we took action on in closed session, and that is that the board voted unanimously to expel student with banner ID 004-92104. And that is the only action taken. So if you will join me, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Cardoza will lead us.
Ready, salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is the annual organizational meeting of the Board of Trustees, and we'll turn the gavel over to the President Superintendent Calvin.
Thank you, President Lane. So December is the month of every year where the board decides who will lead the board for the upcoming year. And I would open up nominations for the board president for the next year.
Dr. Calvin, it would be my honor to nominate Raymond Macareno to be the next president of the Board of Trustees. And if there are no further nominees, I would move to close the nominations and cast a unanimous ballot.
Second. We have a second on that, so it's a unanimous ballot. All those in favor of voting Raymond as our next board president for the 2024 year, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Congratulations.
Get to move to the hot seat.
You do.
Yes. Move myself.
To the not so hot seat. I might look at you and call you Raymond for a while.
That's okay.
Before we move forward, if I may, I'd like to thank the board for entrusting me in this position to lead the board. Very honored to be here, very humbled. And then President Lane, thank you very much for the 3 years as president of our organization. The last 3 years have been very difficult for our students, faculty, administration, for our nation, but it's also been a 3 years worth of record-setting goal attainments, degree attainments, and then prosperity for our college. So I want to thank you for your service. And then I'd like to thank my family and friends that are here, my wife, Micaela, my children. Thank you very much for all your support, and thank you guys for being here. So, thank you. With that, I'll actually move now that the next office for consideration, I'd like to entertain a nomination for vice president, board vice president.
I'd like to nominate Ken Nunes for vice chair.
Whatever. Are there any other? Are there any nominations?
I'll move to close the nomination, cast unanimous ballot.
Wonderful.
Need a second for that?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
That's not allowed.
One opposition.
Way to go, Ken.
Motion carries.
Maybe I'll get it right this time.
Took the words out of my mouth.
I'd like to now entertain nominations for board clerk.
I would nominate Trustee Cardoza, and if there are no further nominations, I would move to close the nominations and cast unanimous ballot.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any
That's not
abstentions?
allowed.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Way to go, Lori.
Item B from the organizational meetings, I'd like to, looking for approval to authorize the signature forms as presented. Of course, the amendment of the newly elected individuals on the board.
I would so move.
Second?
So motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item C is a review of the schedule for regular board meetings. I do see that there is a suggestion or up for discussion for November. If we have a preference between November 4th or November 18th, given that the second Monday is Veterans Day.
I'd like to say, personally, the 4th, it works better for me.
I don't have a preference, though.
So the 18th is our normal, regularly scheduled day. Oh, the 11th would be, so the 11th is Veterans Day.
Correct.
What's better for all of you?
I don't think we have a preference.
You have time to get everything done by the 4th, or that's not a.
So,
Actually, that 18th is not Thanksgiving week, so I'm okay with the 18th. Sorry, I thought that was Thanksgiving week, but Thanksgiving's late next year. It's on the 28th. So, yeah, the 18th is okay with me.
I think we're fine. I'm looking at VPs. I think we're fine on either one. So if the 4th feels better, Megan, you don't have a preference, do you?
No, it's gonna make 3 weeks between, either
Yeah.
way you go, we're gonna have 3 weeks.
It'll feel a little short either way, one way or the
Yeah,
other.
so I'll make a recommendation for the 4th.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
You got some family, do some-
I'd like to welcome my sons Noah, Diego, and Daniela. Thank you guys for joining us today. Appreciate it. Thank you. Family support. Thank you guys for being here.
Family. Yeah, they're all grown up, though.
Moving forward to item D, board member committee representation. In review of the current board assignments, I'd like to ask the board if there were any changes if they'd like to make any changes of the assignment.
I'm fine staying on the budget.
Yeah, I'm okay with it the way.
If there are no changes, I'd like to ask that the committee assignments be approved as they're currently assigned.
So moved?
Second. I have a motion and a second to continue board assignments as is. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much. We're going to move to item 5, public comment. Per board policy 2350, any person may address the board at this time, either on an agenda item or other matters of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. A maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker, with a maximum time of 15 minutes per item, unless otherwise extended by the board. At this time, I'd like to welcome anyone who would like to make a public comment concerning items on the agenda. Seeing none, I'm going to move forward. If anyone would like to make public comment concerning items not on the agenda. Forward to board and executive staff reports, starting with our trustee report, student trustee report.
Hello, everyone. Stuff to report on from all 3 campuses. Here at Visalia, Last year in 2022, we had a student leadership conference where we sent 12 students to San Diego. This year, we hosted another leadership conference with speaker Chris Molina. He has a really good book on leadership. And he came to COS and was speaking to about 60 plus students at the same cost that we sent those students last year to San Diego. It was a really great conference. He had a really great takes on leadership, asking like questions like what makes a good leader, speaking on if someone is a good leader that they should also be a follower as well. He has definitely opened my eyes and also the students that were there to different aspects of leadership that we were able to like expand our knowledge on. We also hosted last week our Jolly Giant Cookie and Card DIY toy drive. We were able to fill 2 extra large boxes for Toys for Tots to give to kids for Christmas this year. Within Tulare, they had a Thanksgiving gratitude board where they were able to write on the board what they were thankful for, such as like family, staff that they're thankful for here at COS, and caffeine apparently. So we can all be thankful for that. And then in Hanford, they actually had a lot of events this past couple months. On November 15th, they had an outreach presentation where Bernadette Lawrence and Maria Torres were able to, can't read it now. They were able to host presentations to our Spanish-speaking students about higher education and those programs that are available here at COS for them. We were also hosting a 2-day holiday hangout at the Avenue Coffee House on Hanford's campus where students were able to de-stress before finals this week and be able to color and decorate ornaments. And then lastly, they had a outreach event for Veterans Day, diabetes awareness, and first-gen students. But other than that, that concludes my report. I will also be leaving because it is finals this week and I really need to study for them. So, but other than that, that concludes my report for tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Good luck for the finals.
Good luck on the finals.
Thank you.
Go get a cup of coffee.
Yes.
I love that.
Moving forward, I'd like to move to board member reports, starting with Trustee Sherman,
No report.
Trustee Nunes.
Yes, so I've had the opportunity to attend a couple of the basketball games so far, and I have to tell you, based on what I know about basketball, looks like another great year for the men's team for sure. I haven't had yet the opportunity to well. Also, after our last meeting on Tuesday, I attended on Tuesday morning, I attended the monthly meeting, isn't it, Brad?
Yes.
Monthly meeting of the Farm Advisory Committee, and I was glad that I attended. It was a great meeting. President Calvin was there. I spoke to several of the advisory committee members, and they're really happy to serve on the committee, and they're very appreciative of the work that's being done at the farm. And I know several of the members told me how excited they are that our president makes time to attend each and every meeting out there at 7 a.m. in Tulare. They were also very appreciative that when a board member takes time to, so I think we'll make time to
Morning. It's always a Tuesday after a board meeting, so.
I'm the one that's supposed to be your kid, maybe you should take over that. I see those guys on a regular basis, so I
Yeah.
feel like I'm on the committee at least once or twice a month with them, but I would definitely make time.
Thank you, Trustee Nunes. Trustee Ling. trustee Cordero?
No.
The only thing I want to mention is I always, one of the things that my family and I like to do during this time of year is to help the Giant Pantry. So we are fundraising and asking our friends and family to donate personal hygiene items. And by the deadline of, I think, the 22nd, we'll be making a donation to support the Giant Pantry. So looking forward to that. Okay,
You just drop off there?
yeah.
Okay.
Next, we'd like to move on to the foundation report.
Mr. Foster was traveling back from the Bay Area and says he has no report this evening.
Okay, move forward to accreditation report. Dr. Lacerda.
Good evening, Board President Macareno and board members. You have an update in your packet, and there is just a reminder of the comprehensive peer review timeline that we will be undergoing with the visit in January 2020, or fall 2025. And the accreditation work group members have been meeting regularly, gathering a lot of information so we can start the process of writing the report in the spring. Just two quick updates, or a couple quick updates from the ACCJC, is that they're undergoing the creation of the 2030 strategic plan, and you can see their key strategies there. They're asking for people to provide feedback to their strategic plan, and so I've included a link for you. And there's also a couple of listening sessions on the strategic plan. So if anyone's interested in reviewing that and providing feedback to them, they're accepting that now. And the second update from the ACCJC is that the open session will be held January 10th in Sacramento, and I will be there. But the open session agenda is linked below, and people are invited to attend that meeting if you are so inclined. That is the accreditation report. Okay.
Questions for Dr. Sarda? Thank you very much. Moving forward, Superintendent President's report, Dr. Calvin.
Thank you, President Macareno. Sounds good, doesn't it? I want to congratulate Raymond on everything he's done while on the board, and congratulate him for his election to being our board president. Well-deserved. And now we've got 5 board members who have all done their stint as board president and all done it magnificently. So thank you for your service to everyone, and congratulations. Raymond, I also want to just thank faculty, staff, and administrators for the wonderful fall semester that's coming to a close. I don't remember a semester that was as successful as this particular one. To see our enrollment snap back as strong as it has after COVID, to see the engagement, and I wish Madison was still here, see the engagement of our student leaders and the number of student events. So one thing that she didn't touch on was they also led a high school outreach, students of color, where the same speaker that spoke at their leadership conference that night was here all day long, speaking to over, I think, 400 high school students, had breakout sessions all across campus. It was surreal, just the energy that was on campus that day. And Lauren and I have been working on some convocation comments, looking back at the events, and we had well over 250 different events, and she just kind of keeps them in her file based on the social media posts that she does. Well over 250 events on campus just since the middle of August. So thank you to faculty, staff, and our administrators for just doing an incredible job. And our community recognizes it. I can't go anywhere without people saying, you guys are crushing it. And it's a testament to all of our employees and this board for setting the direction. But we're doing some really fun things, and I just wanted to publicly acknowledge that as we close out the fall semester. Also want to just remind the board and anyone else of a couple of dates here. Convocation will be back on Friday, the 12th of January for convocation, starting at 8 a.m. My comments will run through 9:30 or so. We'll break for some food and refreshments and fellowship with colleagues before we go into our division meetings from 10 to noon. And then our board retreat will be held Thursday and Friday, the 25th and 26th of January. Fresno Pacific, is that right? We'll be at Fresno Pacific again.
Same as last year,
Mhm.
last couple of years.
Yep, yeah, so that should work out. And then if you're in the mood and would like to join us here in the theater this Wednesday, day after tomorrow, at 7:30 for a jazzy Christmas. That's our jazz band and chamber singers. It's always a fun event. We had a similar combined concert this past Thursday and Friday, and many of us were there. Both nights sold out. The theater was just crammed full. People sitting in the aisles both nights. Really, really a fun event. This Jazzy Christmas is always a lot of fun too, where John Sorber, Michael Tackett let their hair down a little bit, and there's some kind of fun play between the two of them. And so if you're not busy, come out Wednesday night, 7:30 at the theater. And that is the conclusion of my report tonight.
Wonderful. Any questions from trustees? If I may, I'd like to just take a moment. I know I have family and friends that are visiting. You're welcome to stay for the whole meeting, but if you need to step away for any reason, please feel free to do so. If not, you're welcome to stay the whole meeting. Okay. Yeah,
Eddie and Jesus want to make sure you don't screw it up.
yeah, they're gonna watch me, huh?
Little politicians in the audience.
I want you to know that I have 40 kids waiting for me to get back to my boxing.
That's right.
Okay.
Mayor Gamboa, good to see you. Supervisor Valero, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It's been my wife's choice.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let me give my man Marco a high five. Marco, give me a high five.
When you got on the board, he was like this little guy, like he's
Yeah.
growing up so fast.
Emma was a baby.
Exactly, she was,
Yeah, she was about 3 months old.
exactly, I was gonna say, she was in a carrier, I remember. It's cute.
Your wife coming tonight?
Yes.
Good.
And then my son Noah's a COS student. I'm sure hopefully he's going to go study for finals as well.
Say yes, just say yes.
Got it, Dad. I like that orange, though.
And Diego left us last year to go to Fresno State, so.
Oh, good, wow. You got every age.
Yeah. With that, I'd like to invite Mr. Arzola to share Academic Senate President's report or update.
Good evening, President Macareno and board members, President Lane, or former President Lane. Thank you for your service, sir. I appreciate the 2.5 years that that I've been part of this space, that you, I'm going to say lorded, that's probably not a good word, managed the space. Thank you.
Led.
And I similarly look forward to working with President Macareno for the remaining 6 months of my term. Just a couple things here. First things first, the Academic Senate voted and approved of some substantial changes to our Constitution. I think I made mention of this at our November meeting. And so we plan on putting forth that language to the faculty body sometime in January. And this is necessary for us to hold our elections in the spring for the new officer positions. Among which I think I mentioned looking to enfranchise all faculty regardless of their employment status. That's one of the big things here. And then we're also approved, at least the Senate body did, looking to approve faculty-wide appointment authority of the Academic Senate to a new process. Let me see. On my end, as the Academic Senate President, I also had the opportunity to attend state plenary last month. And I know I've mentioned this before. I serve as an executive board member for the Academic Senate for California Community Colleges. I had 2 resolutions of a 35-pack resolution packet. 2 of those, my 2 resolutions were in fact passed, and they were passed with acclamation. Both of them had to deal with the Rising Scholars Program, just looking to deal with barriers that continue to affect incarcerated and formerly incarcerated students who are trying to get through higher education. I did also participate and deliver breakout sessions on cultural humility, accreditation, and the Rising Scholars Program in humanizing students, destigmatizing the incarcerated community. Let me see. Beyond that, I may not be here for the next board meeting. I apologize. I have surgery slated to occur on December 26th on my neck. I was told by the surgeon that it's normally a 3-month recovery, but I'm going to whittle that down to about 2.5 weeks. So, but chances are, if I'm not here, I apologize. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas to you all, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Any questions, comments from the board? No. All right, thank you very much for your report.
All right, best
Surgery
of
goes
luck.
well. You get some relief.
Surgery. I wouldn't rush back, though.
I know.
2.5 weeks?
Don't mess with your neck. Do what they tell you. You only recover once, is what I've been told, so keep that in mind. You only get to recover once.
I'd like to invite the COSTA president for a report, but I don't see Ms. CSEA president's report update.
She said she wanted
SAFA president's update. I don't see her as well.
Getting off easy tonight.
No? Room number 8, information, the 2023 annual report of the COS 2015-2025 master plan, Dr. Calvin.
The report that everyone has been waiting for, or at least Dr. Oster.
Is there a COVID little thing in here?
There may be. I didn't proofread it for those, Lori.
Dolly snuck it in
So
there.
the annual report on the master plan, Dolly's prepared about 25, 26 slides for us. The first half is just a reminder of kind of how we operate. On the left, we've got our participatory governance structure. This board, my office, and then our 3 senates codified in law to make recommendations either to my office or to this board directly. On the right, we have our model for integrated planning. It's been great to us. It assures that our mission is what drives our 10-year master plan, and that's broken down into 3- and 4-year models known as strategic plans. The strategic plans have objectives that in turn drive the broad goal areas found in the master plan. You can see that we use institutional program review in order to allocate our resources. Once we implement plans, we assess the outcomes and memorialize it all, if you will, in the annual college report on the master plan. That's what we're doing here tonight. And this is all captured in our integrated planning manual, kind of how we do it and why we do it. You see here, we're in the midst of a 2015 through 2025 10-year master plan, and we're in our final strategic plan that will run through, again, 2025. This particular strategic plan had 1 mission, as always, but 4 goal areas, 10 objectives, and 50 actions. Those 4 broad growth areas, or broad goal areas, are growth, success, equity, and sustainability. And you can see the 1 objective within the growth area is growing FTES by 2% from 21 through 25, which normally would be a piece of cake, but when you mix in a global pandemic and your enrollment takes a hit like ours did, it's taken a lot to build it back, but we'll be back to pre-pandemic levels this year and next year as we close out this strategic plan. I'm really confident we'll be able to hit that goal of 2% over 2021. Here are the 4 objectives under success. Really They have all to do with earning degrees and certificates and being transfer ready. And then 2 and 3, 2.3 relates to students passing transfer level math, or what we're calling quantitative reasoning, and English at a higher clip. And then objective 2.4, ensuring that our CTE students are able to achieve their employment objectives upon graduation. So we're working on all 4 of those areas. In the area of equity, closing equity gaps in course success rates by 40% over a 4-year period. That's a really big goal there. And then increasing the course success rate by 10% for each of our disproportionately impacted student groups in their transfer level QR and English courses. Another huge objective there. And then finally, we want to make sure that all the good things that have happened here over the last decade continue. 3 of the ways we do that are increasing the use of data and transparency in our decision-making, improving our communication practices, and improving our professional development practices. This shows just kind of what our timeline was like, culminating in my report here in December. You're all familiar with that timeline. And then prior to getting to the meat of the report, I just want to thank the folks that serve on the Institutional Planning and Effectiveness Committee. This is a heavy lift. It's a little bit seasonal. It's not busy all year long, but they stay pretty busy all year long and really busy for several months out of the year. So special thanks to our IPEC members. And now we'll get into the actual assessments, and Dr. Ozturk is here to fill in any gaps that I leave unaccounted for. But the report includes 3 parts: an update on the actions completed from last year, an analysis of how we've done in achieving our goals, and then identification of the actions to be completed next year. Like, what actions are we rolling over into the following year? Because that's part of this. It's just a cycle of continuous improvement. And great, we achieve something and institutionalize it. We're able to take it off of our strategic plan. But just as important is we identify gaps or areas that we haven't been able to close the book on. We make sure and roll those over and acknowledge the fact we're rolling this over, and we'll tell you how we did in next year's report. So those are the 3 items that we're going to cover this evening. Again, completed, eliminated in some cases, or included in the 23-24 actions, or ongoing. And when I say institutionalized, I mean ongoing. Some things just become a way of life, and that's what ongoing means. This is an example of what our representative parties, our responsible parties, submit to us, assessment and progress. And so if we jump into goal area number 1, and again, I think you've all been given a copy of this. We're well on our way to achieving what we set out to achieve, which was a 2% increase from 2021 through 2025. We started in a significant hole coming out of the pandemic in 2021, but we're now back to pre-pandemic levels. And with 1 more year to go on our strategic plan, we should be able to meet this objective. You can see kind of the chronological order of things across the top there, and feel good about getting back. We actually could have, had we needed to, we could have been at pre-pandemic levels during the 2022-23 year. We showed being a little bit down. You see on the right-hand side over there, we were still down over the 2018-19 year. Had we chosen to, if there would have been a financial goal or incentive to doing so, we could have been at pre-pandemic levels. Because there was no financial incentive to do so, we were still held harmless last year. We pushed a lot of our summer FTES forward. It only makes sense because we wanted to basically give ourselves a little easier on-ramp, because this year we're not held harmless, and next year during the 24-25 year, that will become everybody's base statewide. The 24-25 year will become everyone's base moving forward. So we like the idea of pushing FTS forward into the current year in the hopes that we would be able to push some FTS into the 24-25 year and just cushion our total enrollment during that significant year where they're going to determine our base moving forward. Goal area number 2, we provide the feedback on the number of students earning degrees or certificates. They increased slightly last year. I think it was about 1.5%, and then the CTE awards did as well. We've got some work to do on this, which is why we'll be carrying it forward. But again, it keeps us on our toes, and it makes us accountable for either achieving our objective or in this case, not quite achieving our objective. 2.2 was to increase the number of students who are transfer ready by 15%, or who transfer to 4-year institutions by 10%. We did make progress on these actions. But again, I think we feel a lot better if we were just a little bit higher in these areas. We do have quite a number of strategies in place, and the board hears about it kind of each month, different things that we're working on to increase our transfer readiness and our actual transfers to 4-year institutions, including our partnership and ongoing work with Fresno State. You see here in the area of equity, goal area number 3, we've got 23 student groups that we monitor, and we've been able to decrease the equity gaps in almost all of them. And Dolly, I can't read the small print there. Can you give us just a little summary on where we've got some work left to do with these various groups?
Yes. If we look at this superscript, 1 means the group's gap widened since the baseline. 2 means the group met or exceeded its target. And then 3 means they made progress, but they haven't met the target yet. So if we just look at for the past 2 years, male students and students with disabilities, they met or exceeded the target. And then if we look at the African American, American Indian, and Hispanic, and first generation students, they still have more progress to make, so they haven't made much progress yet. And then LGBT and foster youth, they made progress, but they haven't met the baseline, the target yet.
Thank you. Saved my eyes a little bit there, Dr. Osterk, so thank you. Finally, sustainability. We've made progress on all the actions here in Objective 4.1, and they're all ongoing. These are things that we'll continue to work on, and it was included in your report, the types of things that we do for using data as well as transparency. Our entire system is set up. One of the reasons that anytime the board gets something, it's gone through either Academic Senate, District Governance Senate, and in most cases, both of the Senates, as well as, where appropriate, the Student Senate, prior to the board hearing it, which is one of the primary reasons we've been able to make progress on these actions. Summarizing here, you see in the middle column, number of actions completed or institutionalized in green. 26 of our 40 have either been completed or institutionalized. And then we've got another 14 that are being rolled over into the following year. Is that right, Dr. Osterk? So,
This is a summary from the last year, so the next slide will show the results for this cycle.
oh, nice. So 40 of the 40 actions have either been completed or institutionalized. Is that correct, Dr. Osterk? It's fabulous.
Brett, did I see on that first slide that we had 50 action items, or am I confusing that with something else?
The action items also includes assessment items, so we're not counting the assessment items in here, so our assessment.
Dolly likes to sneak in an extra, he likes to sneak in an extra action item, which is to assess it after the end, so just bulks it up a little bit. For your further nighttime reading, you can visit our institutional planning and effectiveness website. We laugh about this, but I can't imagine there's a more thorough or comprehensive website with respect to institutional planning and research than what we have here at the College of the Sequoias. We've got more reports and surveys and planning documents like the ones you see here, all contained in the research website. So please visit that. You don't have to read every single report, but it's staggering just the amount of information we have found at one place. Thank you, Dr. Osterk and his staff, Ryan Berry Souza, Tyler Verdon, do a fabulous job. And again, IPEC does a great job on this report and several other things as well. So thank you, Dr. Osterk. Questions for Dr. Osterk or myself?
I have just a question in terms of the number of action items to be included in the next plan. Is that goal being met? Were you expecting that to be 0?
We're in the third year of a 4-year strategic plan. Did you hear the question, Dr. Osterk?
So, if there was no any progress, that's actually listed for next year. If they made progress, meaning they either completed some of the action items, like almost binary, you completed or not completed. The others actually, not only they complete, they institutionalize, so they do it every year. So we still get reports from them. So next year, some of those ongoing, we will be still getting reports from them because the work is still going on.
Yeah, so even though they got eliminated, that doesn't necessarily mean they're done and over with. It means they've been either institutionalized or the goal, well, it could be both.
Correct.
And met.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, makes
Yeah,
sense.
40 for 40 is a little bit
Right.
misleading. It almost makes it sound like there's no work left to do, and that's
Right.
not the case. There's still work being done in those areas.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Good question. Anybody else? Okay.
All right, Dr. Calvin, thank you very much. Moving forward, we're going to review the consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted in one motion. An item may be removed from the consent calendar at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees or any person in the audience, and considered as a separate agenda item. Items for review are minutes of the previous meeting, personnel report, payment of bills, 2022-2023 working budget approval, out-of-state travel requests, and a second out-of-state travel request. I will entertain a motion, or if there's any items you guys would like to pull from the consent calendar.
I move to approve the consent calendar as.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone abstain? Motion carries. Moving forward to action items, curriculum, new and modified or deleted. Approval of new curriculum as required by Ed Code and Title V. Dr. Lacerda.
Hi again, everybody, and you have the curriculum report in front of you. This has been approved by the Academic Senate and the Curriculum Committee, and it's recommended that the board approve this. The classes on the first 2 pages are here for slight modifications and 5-year review. We have a couple of materials fees increases on the next page, and then a top code change, or a subject change on the 3rd page for psychology, and then, I don't know, am I going too fast, Megan? And then psych and PT 5-year review. On the next page, all 3 courses are there for 5-year review, and on the 5th page, 5-year review. Then we get into the programs. There's an update on a current transfer program. We have 5-year and 2-year reviews, just general updates on the next group. And on the last 2 pages, exactly the same. These are all just minor modifications for programs that are here for a 2-year review. I went really fast, but that is the report.
So when you review the certificates and the associate degrees, do any changes take place?
Yes, and so usually they're very, like if you look at on the second to last page, it says, if you scroll up a little bit, like course list. So on that one, anything that they changed is listed under the modification or justification for you. So for the 2 years, those are all CTE, Career Technical Education programs, so they always update the labor market information. So that's the reason why the CTE programs come every 2 years, is because we're required to update the labor market information every 2 years and make sure that our program is meeting the needs of the community and the career. And anything else is listed there. So for the example, the Associate of Science and Drafting Technology, they updated the courses that were required. And so it will always say in there whatever they've updated. And sometimes there's minor, like they may have adjusted the description slightly, or they would have adjusted something slightly. But if anything's major, it will be listed right there.
It'll be listed where? In the
Where it
course
says
program description?
modification. Yeah, where it says modification.
But I guess that's my question. So many of them have nothing. So what happens with the
Right.
ones that have nothing?
We looked at the labor.
And nothing changed?
They looked at labor market information, nothing changed.
Got it,
They may
okay.
have done like a slight description change or some slight edits. They may have updated like homework assignments or something like that, or not homework, it wouldn't be on a program, but it would be something minor if it's not
Got it.
listed here.
But if they're on here and it says program modification, but there's nothing in this box, does that mean nothing was done to it, but it still has to show up on this list?
Correct, because they're required to be updated every 2 years.
They come up for review no matter what?
Yes.
Got it, okay.
Sorry, I
Move to-
went really fast on that, I apologize.
Move to approve, that makes sense. There weren't very many changes, and if they're major, they're gonna be here and we'll
They're
see
gonna
it.
be there,
I was
yeah.
just confused because this all says modification. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out what was modified, but I get it now.
Yes.
I should know this by now, but,
No, it's okay, it's,
yep, I move to
Good.
approve.
By trustee. Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any would like to abstain? Motion carries.
thank you.
Item number 10, academic calendar.
Thank you, still me. So we have before you 3 calendars, the 2025-26, 26-27, and 27-28. And these come to us in groups of 3. We get, every 3 years, we get some advice or guidance from the chancellor's office on what days are holidays and how the calendar needs to be put together. And then our calendar work group has representatives from Academic Senate, Student Services, Academic Services, and the 3 bargaining units, so Costa, CASAFA, and CSEA, and we meet and develop these calendars. And so you have before you summer session 25, and just to kind of make sense, anything that's gray is when we're meeting. If it's red, it's a holiday, and those holidays are mandated by the chancellor's office or the state. And so if you can see this on the left side is our summer session. So we would start May 27th for the first session, start June 9th for the second session, and start June 24th for the third session. And then if you move over to the right, this would be what our academic calendar would look like. So convocation is always in yellow, and so convocation would be the 8th of August. All of the purple days on this calendar are days that we meet in session, and the red days, again, are holidays. And with like the board's direction, we always meet, the holiday of Veterans Day on Veterans Day. And then if you move into January, the first day of convocation is January 9th, and we always put commencements on a Thursday, so May 21st, and no classes or finals are held that day. So that is the 25-26 proposed calendar before you. And these have also, I apologize, these have been approved by the calendar work group. They've been to District Governance Senate and presented, I believe, to Academic Senate as well. So if you look at the next one, where is it? I don't know where I have it. This one is the 2026, and so you can see the gray, the summer is June 1st, June 16th, and June 29th, and then the fall semester with convocation on August 7th, and we would be finishing classes on December 15th. For finals, it's the darker blue is finals week, so that's December 15th. And then convocation would be on January 15th. We'd start school on the 19th, and graduation will be on May 27th that year. So that's the next one. And just so you guys know, like if you see in the bottom box, there's like a legend that gives you what the different days, colors are, and then the instructional days, we're required to have that number of days in a minimum of 16 of each day. So there has to be at least 16 Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. So this is a really complicated process that Conti C in my office puts together and counts all this stuff and makes sure that it follows all the regulations.
So, board members, occasionally I get asked this by either K through 12 parents or teachers and administrators, why does our calendar not always follow theirs in terms of holidays and things like that? What she just explained is the reason. Because K-12, every day's the same. A Tuesday in October is the same as a Thursday in November or a Monday back in September. You take a day off, you take a day off. It's just another day. But our system, because some students only go on Monday or Monday and Wednesdays or Tuesdays and Thursdays, they want to make sure that we're not just taking 6 or 7 Mondays off in a semester or a year. They want to spread them out, and we have to kind of think through it, which is why they require us to have 16 of every day of the week for every semester. And it ends up being a pretty good puzzle to put together for our academic calendar work group. And so that's why they end up looking a little bit different than K-12s.
Okay, so on the last one here, we would be starting summer June 7th and June 14th, and then the third session July 6th. We're going to do something a little bit different this year, and convocation will actually be on a Monday, August 9th, with school starting on Tuesday, August 10th, and we would be ending on finals on December 15th. And then convocation in the spring would be January 14th with commencement on May 25th. So those are the 3 proposed calendars that we are asking the board to approve today.
I move to approve.
You don't have any changes to make?
Nope.
Sure, Greg?
I only have about 10 changes.
We'd get in big trouble, I think, if we tried to do that.
I think our only choice, I'll second that motion. That's our only choice.
Motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Next, approval and transfer of funds, capital project funds, scheduled maintenance, resolution number 2023-09.
Good
Mr.
evening,
Perez.
Board. Resolution 2023-09, basically what it's asking the board to do is approve a transfer of $1,097,823 from the state COVID block grant to schedule maintenance. And let me give you a little background. As you probably remember, this year's 23-24 budget what the governor wanted to do was fund some special projects, categorical projects in 23, 24, but he didn't have enough money. So what he decided to do was reduce scheduled maintenance statewide from 22, 23. But the kicker was he did it in May with a month and a half left in our fiscal year. So originally we received $9 million. Of that $9 million, $1 million went to academic services for instructional equipment for Dr. Center and the deans and the chairs and faculty to work out that plan. The rest went to capital projects, scheduled maintenance, which is like HVAC, heating, painting, re-roofing, things that we do district-wide that cost money. So our impact of that the original $9 million was $5.4 million. So we had $4.6 million, $1 million went to academic services, that left us with $3.6. And then what he did also though for this year is he gave the flexibility. He says, I'm going to reduce your scheduled maintenance. However, you have these other two pots of money. You have student success money, and you also have COVID block grant money that you can move dollars there to help you with a reduction of scheduled maintenance. We didn't want to touch student success because they didn't even get COLA this year. So we left that alone. COVID block grant we used, we're asking for $1 million. However, remember, we had the HERF dollars, so we've used a lot of HERF dollars. We're leaving enough money in the COVID block grant to allow us for the next two academic years, so 24, 25, and 25 to 26, continue what we've been doing for the half-off food services. Because you know, as food insecurity is a big thing. And if you've been over the cafeteria, the snack shack, or the coffee shop, that thing is jam-packed. So that's been a big success. So a lot of words saying I'm asking you to, your approval to move $1 million over from COVID block grant over to scheduled maintenance to make scheduled maintenance whole. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have with that.
Question for Mr. Perez?
So moved.
A second. It's been moved and seconded. This is a roll call vote. Megan?
Trustee Cardoza?
Aye.
Trustee Nunes?
Aye.
Trustee Lane?
Aye.
Trustee Sherman?
Aye.
Trustee Macarena?
Item number 12, purchase of real property, resolution 2023-10. Mr. Perez.
Yes, this resolution, 2023-10, as you just mentioned, is, if you can go to the map, Megan, probably the best thing there. As we all know, we passed a bond last year. The Visalia voters passed a bond to allow this district to build a university center and a student union. We are currently active in planning this university center. You'll see that at your retreat on the 25th and 26th of January next year. But what we're focusing in on is on that red square, the APN number there. We currently own the left side of that red triangle. It's the 4A liquor. It was Curry Copy and a computer store. So we own that 3 stores there. What we're asking the board tonight is to be able to purchase the 4 stores. There is a current vacant facility there. There's Cricket Wireless, Healthy Japan, and there's a Bell Bonds. So as you see, the university center, it's kind of encroaching on that area there, and we need that land, not only for open space, but for future parking of the university center. We've been in talks with the owners of that. We've had an appraisal. You'll see the purchase price that we both come to agreement is $2 million. The appraisal was close to about $1,920,000, I think it is. So it's pretty close. But again, as President Calvin mentioned, there's a term called plottage. What it means to say if Jessica wanted to buy that property. It doesn't mean, and for us, it means a lot more to us because we need it for the university center than it would to her. So they know that they have one up on us. But the difference of $2 million to $1.9 million is very minimal. So what that allows us to do is to purchase that property. Again, we're going to be tearing that down, and we'll be making Moody a little more cleaning it up in that area. And again, future parking, open space, and what have you there. So if, Dr. Calvin, did you want to say anything, or did I leave anything out on that one?
No, I don't think so. Thank you. Thank you, Ron. I think it just cleans up what we're trying to do there with some parking and extension of our courtyard. It also allows us to to abandon the current alley that runs behind those businesses and historically is run out to Tulare Avenue. For the design to be like this, we've got to eliminate that alley, and this, buying at least these two of the three buildings allows us to do that. We've got enough room with the purchase of this building to have, even if we don't acquire that third building, which is to the right, they can do a left-hand turn going down the alley out to Mooney, so we could design the building as we want here. Otherwise, we would have to fit our university center more up where just the apartment complexes are. It'd be a little tighter. The orientation, the front of the university center is up there at the top that faces back towards our COS campus. The backside would be at the corner of Tulare and Mooney. We just think that's a better look than trying to fit it kind of left to right where all the apartment complexes are right now.
We have the sufficient funds in our building, or our purchase funds, or whatever we call that fund.
Yes, you as the board approved a one-time transfer over to $2 million for commercial property. So you did that last year out of our
last year's surplus, we set aside $2 million for this purpose.
Ron or Brent, just as an aside, the thoroughfare or the driveway
Yep.
that's labeled Sequoia
Square, yes.
is that the current street?
That's currently Shady Avenue.
Okay.
And we're in the process of abandoning that as a city street, so it won't go out to Tulare any longer. They'll on the far left-hand side, it'll be a sidewalk, and it won't go all the way out. We'll have two traffic circles there, if you will, to get in and out of the parking lot 7. And then a little further west on Tulare, it's not shown there, but a little further west, which is up in this map, we would have a stoplight and another entrance into parking lot 7 from Tulare. So that's part of the kind of the pre-bid bid package to put a light there at our parking lot and abandon this Shady Avenue.
And on Meadow there, the building that you can only partially see, the gray, that's the new
Educational support services,
right.
correct. Correct. And then the longer one that looks like Oklahoma there across Meadow, that's our marketplace, the giant marketplace, food pantry. And then up from there is the current Fresno State Center, which once we move all of the Fresno State folks to the University Center, we'll have a decision to make as to how to repurpose the current Fresno State Center. We've got some time before we make that decision.
Thank you.
I move we approve the purchase of real estate property, Resolution 2023-10.
Motion and second approving the purchase of 1101, 1107, 1109, 1113 South Mooney, Visalia for $2 million plus closing costs. This is a roll call vote.
Trustee Sherman? Aye. Trustee Cardoza? Aye. Trustee Lane? Aye. Trustee Nunes?
Aye.
Trustee Macareno?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Number 13, board policies, first read. Dr. Calvin.
Thank you, President Macareno. We've got 8 board policies that you're seeing for the first time tonight, two of which come out of Chapter 3 of the General Institution, and 6 of which are 10+1 items as they fall under the auspices of the Academic Senate. And soon-to-be Dr. Arzola is here, and so is Dr. Lacerna, if we have any questions on those. But those are academic calendar, library and tutorial services, delineation of functions, cancellation of low-enrolled classes, unit credit hour configuration, and grading and academic record symbols. Happy to answer any questions you might have. As always, any new language is in bold and underlined, and any language we're taking out has a strike through it. Happy to entertain any questions.
The work experience, does that come from us or down from the chancellor's office? The language on the work experience hours and just how it was reworded, the unit credit configuration? Do we,
There's new legislation on work experience, and those changes were.
sit down from the
They're
state?
reflecting the new policy.
Okay. So in general, am I reading it correct where it's just less hours? Or is it a
No,
matter of unit, the ratio's different?
No, it's just clarifying the amount of.
How it's calculated?
How it's calculated.
Okay, okay.
The 40-10 and 40-40, are there changes there? I don't see any changes.
Not to the board policy. And there may have been to the administrative procedure that went along with it, which we don't bring to the board. But even BPs that have no changes come before the board, just so you can see that we're reviewing them. Remember, we need to document the fact that we've looked at them every 5 years for our accreditation policy standards.
On 3410, non-discrimination. I understand that we're driven by state law to not discriminate against anyone based upon their use of cannabis off the job or away from the workplace, but I presume that through other policies that we're covered for any sort of intoxication on the.
Correct.
Yeah.
Job? Yes, we are. And we didn't just make this up either.
I
This
understand.
comes straight out of law.
Forced, right.
Brent, can you clarify though for me, so we're kind of revising all our policies as well, and this one came up. In terms of testing, if you do random drug testing, are they testing at the next level? Have we reached that point yet, or are we not there with this one? Because that's the kicker, right? Is when they test for the cannabis, at what level are they using it, and are they actually impaired when they're at work? Do we have any policy on that, or is that kind of just a gray area? Because it seems to me most people are saying that's gray for now.
At employment or?
At employment, if you test,
No, yeah.
you need to
just
break it
clarifying.
down even further, because
Right.
they can say, no, I'm allowed now.
Sure.
You can't test because the residual is there for so many days, so.
We don't test, so I don't know
Okay.
quite all the nuances. I'm gonna put John Bratch on the spot back there.
It's a union issue. For us to test, we would have to negotiate it, and right now, we just don't have testing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not suggesting that we do. I wasn't going there. I
But
just
no
meant,
pre-employment even, nothing?
correct?
No drug testing at all happens
No.
on this campus?
No.
No. Wow. Wow, is all I have to say to that. Okay, all right.
One thing we do is, prior to any employee starting work at COS, we run a criminal background check. And I review every employee who comes on board, see if they have a criminal past with regards to, misdemeanors all the way to felonies. And if there is a hit, I do review with the supervisor. And we have a very clean staff. Let's put it that way.
No, and
Very few
I believe that. I guess my only question would be, it seems like there'd be a policy in terms of if there were suspicions, that you'd be able to. I guess that's what concerns me more so, and I know that's not happening, or we'd know, I hope, as board members, but it seems to me there'd be a policy in place if there were suspicions or some erratic behavior that you'd be able to test, but, okay, so this one really won't affect us then, because that's a gray area, but thank you.
What do we need to do, move it to second read?
Entertain a motion to approve the first reading of the board policy that's presented.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? You would like to abstain? Motion carries.
Good job,
There's
Mr.
nothing
President.
else. We will adjourn this meeting.
Good job.
Good.